Hello, is this thing on? 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. It's Look Sports Media. And it's time for a breakdown.
Did you wonder what Grant were doing as well there, Hannah?
It looks like something out of Star Wars, and I've never seen Star Wars, so...
I'm having a party.
Grant, we need the epilepsy warnings now on this every single week, because you're going to kill someone.
Apologies, everyone, if you have epilepsy.
It's a bit late now, isn't it, Grant? Laid on the floor. Don't worry about it, Grant. We didn't really plan this bit, did we? We didn't say, welcome, guys. Welcome to... What breakdown is this? We've done quite a lot of breakdowns. I didn't realise how many we'd actually done until earlier today, looking through the YouTube. It's been a lot, hasn't there? It's been a lot of breakdowns.
I think it's a good wee addition for us, isn't it?
Let's address the elephant in the room. Hannah, you're not in your little shed.
No, my mum and dad's. Because we had Thanksgiving dinner. I cooked Thanksgiving dinner for 9 people.
Hannah's from Stockport, by the way.
Yeah, but it was like, I think it was in lockdown when the girls had pen pals in America. And so they told the girls what they had for Thanksgiving, and I decided to do it. And now it's become a bit of a tradition. So yeah, but I forgot about this when I agreed to do Thanksgiving dinner.
See, at first when you said I'm cooking a Thanksgiving dinner for 9, I thought like you were doing it at first I thought you were doing it for 9 o'clock. I'm like that. Jesus Christ, how are you going to do a breakdown and cook Thanksgiving dinner for 9 o'clock?
Yeah, no, it's done. It went well. We had pumpkin pie.
Oh, no.
I made pumpkin pie.
I've never had pumpkin pie.
Oh,
I haven't either, but I just don't think it sounds good.
No, it is good. It tastes like autumn and Christmas, and yeah, it's good. It tastes like a pumpkin spice latte. Thanks, Ben. Ben gets it. Look. Oh, did you take it away?
I was putting it on for you, Hannah. Happy Thanksgiving, Hannah. So we'll go through.
It is also my favourite working day of the year because I work with so many Americans and they're all off all day, and they finished at lunchtime yesterday, so it's been quite nice. And tomorrow's nice as well. So
I could get on board with that side of things. So yeah, Ben says hi guys, and then up the swing. Maybe not. We've also got Dale joining us and Jake, and then Ben gave you a little smile after you said thanks, Ben. But we're here, and we're going to talk about whatever you guys want us to talk about. If anyone's got any subjects, send them in, and we will have a chat. First and foremost, Generation Red's joining us as well. Good evening. Good evening.
Back.
We actually met them last week, Grant. Me and Hannah.
We did.
We met them both. As the local celebrities as they went and had their radio interview.
Getting ready for the rap battle as well.
Yeah, the Chal rap battle.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, that's going to be an interesting one. That should be the final of the Challenge d'Or. That's going to be next year's Challenge d'Or winner, isn't it? Chal's rap. You just know it.
What do we think's going to win? I think it's a good one to go. What do we think's going to win the Challenge d'Or? What do you guys think's going to be the final
Giraffe.
The Challenge d'Or?
The giraffe. It has to be. It's the hand action, which actually I missed the first time I watched it. I was just so distracted by the actual giraffe. But no, it's the hand action is giving winning vibes.
Yeah, I'm going to be so gutted because that's going to come up against Incognito, isn't it?
Yeah, it's in the next or the semi-finals, isn't it?
Yeah.
Born and Bred Keeper's already gone.
Yeah, Born and Bred. Is it out now? Born and Bred Keeper.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
boo. Oh, boo.
I was looking forward to a potential lower league look final of
I know
Born and Bred Keeper versus Incognito. I think that would have been glorious.
Yeah, it would have been good. No, I can't either. But we've got Ian joining us as well. Ian's here. Good evening, Ian. And then we've got our first subjects, guys. Are you ready? Of course, it's about Swindon. What's going on about town, and how's the
Would it
season
be a
panning out?
conversation
Town?
with us without Swindon?
Mm. Well, the first part of that question, I don't think we're allowed to answer. What's going on? We don't. To be brutally honest, we don't know what's going on. But every single day, there seems to be a new question thrown up. I know the trust eventually. So I don't know if you guys know, but for anyone who doesn't know, the trust released a statement after the article went out, and they said that they'd approached the club, and that the club or Clem had promised that within 2 weeks they'd have the books to look through.
Yeah.
It's been 3 weeks now. I don't believe that they've had them yet, or if they have, there's been nothing come
And
out.
I think they were promised them prior to that as well, weren't they? Because they've got an
Yeah.
accountant like within their members, or the kind of senior
Mhm.
membership.
Yeah, they've been waiting for them. I believe since maybe August, September time.
Yeah.
So there's. I mean, look. Let's be brutally honest. We all know that when those accounts come through, there's going to be a hell of a lot of black lines, redacted. There's going to be so much red tape that they just
think-
and they won't be able to put. I would say 99% of what they see out publicly.
Yeah.
The trust will have to
But-
sign so many NDAs.
Do you think
It's
they'll
like
put them
the-
back? Do you think they'll put them back again? Because it happened to Hartlepool. Hartlepool delayed their accounts by 3 months, and then they changed the end. They changed the end of their accounting year, and then they put their accountants back. So it could just change the end of the accounting year and then put them back due to something else to delay the.
Well, they've
accounts
already
coming
been
out. I don't
done.
know if that's been done yet.
So the accounts have been done. I think this is what he's saying. The accounts are done and ready. So
Yeah.
they're saying so even if he says that even if they do I think you delay it by a day and that triggers an extra, it's like 6 months. Crawley did the same. Even if
Yeah.
they do that, he's already stated that the accounts are ready. So there's nothing stopping him sending them to him. How long
Yeah.
does it take to send an attachment? I suppose it depends how long you spend blacking stuff out, Ben, before you send it.
It is tricky sometimes, isn't it? Like if you haven't got Adobe Acrobat, like the editing version, it can be challenging to, get your highlighter out on your computer screen. And
Go back to Ben's question here, the second part. How's the season panning out in your opinion? Look, off the field is a disaster for Swindon, but considering what's going on off the field, I don't think the on the field's that bad. I aren't overly worried about Swindon this season. They're not going to go up. I don't think they're going to go down. If Swindon fans believe that they're going to be in a relegation battle, then I am really worried as a Bradford fan because we are currently looking up at Swindon, and Swindon sat 11th. They're on a horrific run right now. Let's be brutally honest, though.
Yeah,
I think Swindon's start to the season has really helped. If they didn't have as good a start to the season as they had, then yes, I think Swindon fans would have every right to be worried.
They've had that.
Right now they're sitting on 24 points. We're getting close to the halfway point of the season. They'll probably get to 30 points by the halfway mark. And
will they though? I think that they've got 1 point out of the last 15. That's what they've got. It's that runs. So they've got.
That was this week.
They've got Mansfield this Saturday.
Ouch! But just do you know what? It'd be just like Swindon to beat Mansfield, and Mansfield, that'll be the first time they lose this season. That would be a very, very Swindon thing to do.
I said that on Monday. Yeah,
it would. It would. The other issue is they might get to 30 points by the halfway point. They're then going to lose their best players at the halfway point. And
that's
then
the second part.
And as Ben said, I think it was on the 606 that historically they come out of transfer windows weaker than they go into them because they lose players to other teams as well as loans going back. So it'd be interesting to see whether that changes this season. If not, I think I'd be quite worried.
I think there's no doubt that Jake Young's going back in January. That's pretty much happening, isn't it?
Yeah.
And Dan Kemp's the only one with question marks over it, but I reckon someone comes in for Dan Kemp rather than him going back to MK Dons. Unless Williamson's is like, I fucking want him in my team and I want him in my team now.
There's that, or like Williamson might want him in his team. If he does, then absolutely he should go for it. But Swindon cannot afford to get into a bidding war with anyone at the minute. They
No,
just
can you imagine Stockport picking up Dan Kemp?
yeah. But here's the thing: can you imagine? Can you imagine Bradford picking him up because Jake Young comes back and they've got that
Partner with
partnership?
Jake Young.
Yeah, and Jake Young says, "Look, we've got Graham Alexander now. Come on, let's go back to Bradford. Let's even if it's just
I mean,
a
there's
deal
something
for
not
Yeah, but hang
there's something
on.
not working at Bradford. And if you go put Jake Young up front, and then you have Dan Kemp playing off him, and you have Jamie Walker there, I mean, fuck me,
I know what
that's
Hannah's going to
scary.
say. I know what Hannah's
But
gonna say.
Graham Alexander can't rate Dan Kemp.
Nah, see, this is my thing on Dan Kemp. I don't think it mattered who came into MK Dons. The fans are dead against Dan Kemp and then just won't
Okay.
accept him. So I feel like maybe Dan Kemp. Well, in fact, Dan Kemp has said. I think Ben, correct me if I'm wrong, or any Swindon fans, correct me if I'm wrong. I'm sure Dan Kemp has said that he pushed for the move away from
Fine.
MK.
Okay.
I think he did.
But I've been saying to like every time I've spoke to Jake Young, I'm like, oh, come on, January. He's very, very hush hush, and he's like, we'll see what happens. I'm like, come on, Jake, just look when you come back, bring Dan Kemp with you. Come on, bring him up. We can let's just take. I mean that front sort of 5 players there, like you said, Grant. Imagine Jake Young and Andy Cook up top with Dan Kemp, Jamie Walker, and Bobby Poynton feeding them.
Fucking hell. I mean, you don't even need Andy Cook in that front.
I mean, you want Andy Cook there because
Yeah,
Andy
of course
Cook,
you would.
regardless, is still. This is again, I don't get why the fans have been so abusive of Andy Cook this season because has Andy Cook done what he did last season? No, he's still top goal scorer, regardless. And then this is my point that I sort of say to Bradford fans: if you don't think Andy Cook's performing, but he's got top goal scorer, what are the other players doing? Why are they exempt from it? Ian said, if Dan Kemp goes north, he's going south Manchester. I can't see him going to Salford, if I'm honest with you, Ian. I don't think he ends up at Salford.
Salford's North Manchester.
Do you know what I mean? It's all
Kind
the
of.
same to me. It's all the same to me. It's kind of middle Manchester, and it's just kind of Manchester is Salford. Is that dirty old town? No, Ben's brought up another interesting point here. I don't know if you guys saw it, the table that went out about the if games. I don't think Ben. I don't know if that's right. You've put games in the last 45 minutes would be second. It's not. It's the other way, isn't it? It's games in the first 45 minutes you'd be second. I believe squad depth's killing us. It's the last 45 that puts you down at the bottom with Bradford. I think Bradford and Swindon were 23rd and 24th, but for the first half, you're second.
Stockport was still top, which really surprised me because I felt like it's always the second halves that we come into our own, which is a massive change from last season.
Yeah.
So I was surprised by that.
Yeah. So Ben, I don't think your seasons. You've had Grant mentioned it. I think Swindon have had the Harrogate run. We used to always refer to it, didn't we, Grant? The Harrogate run. Harrogate always have a horrific season, but they have a run just at some point, and that always saves Harrogate. And you've had that Harrogate run. You had it at the start. Depending on what you do in January, you could go back to being that team that we all predicted were going to be in trouble before you'd sign Jake Young and Dan Kemp. And I don't. I think luckily there's two teams that
season. It's not this season I worry about Swindon. It's next season I worry about Swindon. We're still looking at the same model going into next season. Nothing's going to change. The budget's not going to change.
Yeah. I think they end up
Are
with
they
a new
going to
owner
be
by
able to
then.
push to have a budget to stay up next season? That's my worry for Swindon.
How long did Charlie Austin sign? Was that a 2-year deal he signed, or did he sign another year? Because we're potentially looking the end of this season. If it's a year, Austin,
Who
Young,
knows?
and Kemp all out of that club. I've seen a lot of fans and any Swindon fans watching correct us if we're wrong, or tell us your opinion on it.
Shade top one.
Big Shade. So yeah, Ben's just said end of the season, Austin. So
There we
end of the
go.
season,
Shade up
that's
top on his own. I can't wait for that next season.
If Shade stays,
Well,
Like,
so does
He's
that
gonna
mean
stay. No one else will
does
take
that
him.
mean that Austin has to go in January if they want any money for him and they don't think he'll resign?
no one's buying Charlie Austin. Surely, no one's paying for Charlie Austin at this stage. It can't be. I just can't. I cannot see anybody willing to pay money for, especially when you look at what's happening, sort of, or what's been reported to be happening this season, like arguments with fans and like. I feel like, look, it's not wanting to slag off Charlie Austin because he started the season really well and like he's a better player this season than he was last, but I just don't feel like there's the respect there. Like that's the thing. I just don't. Oh, predictions for your own all your own. Is this for the season? We've got to do.
I'd say the season.
I think January, Bradford wise, from January till the end of the season. I actually said this earlier to Adam from the City event. We were texting earlier and we were talking about what we thought would happen at the end of the season or the rest of the season. I said I think we end up doing maybe not as successfully, but doing a Bristol Rovers.
It'd be good to see. It would be good to see.
Yeah. Hannah, what about you?
I think third or fourth.
Really?
You think third or fourth?
Yeah.
No danger.
Yeah. I think that we're not playing well at the moment. We're getting away with it. And that can't last forever. And then if we get stuck in another rut where we had a horrific like January, February last year after a similarly good run in the autumn. And if that happens, then yeah, we're fighting for playoffs again.
But the unbeaten, so you've won 13 on the bounce?
12
on the bounce, and you're saying that you're not going to finish in the top two?
Yeah, but
or even the top three.
So we started the season with we drew with Bradford. There was Gillingham. Who else did we lose to? We did beat Barrow. We drew with Crawley. We've just had a run of winnable games, I think. And yeah, as
I think that's what you see when you look at these results. When you're playing bad and you win 12 in a row, that's teams that win the league.
Yeah.
That is a team that wins the league.
I genuinely hope you're right. Yeah. Thanks, Jamie. Yeah, we lost to Mansfield as well. But that was a period of time where it felt like we were doing everything right, but not getting the results. And as Ben said, our squad depth and bench I feel incredibly lucky that we're in the position we're in because it hasn't been like that. Even at the beginning of this run, we had 2 goalkeepers on the bench. We were really, really struggling. We're bringing on people like Cody Johnson regularly, who is great, but he's 18. So now we're in a position where players are back from injury, but yeah, no, I don't think you take anything for granted, and it's going well, but we've all seen it reverse so many times.
Yeah, no, I agree. Before we move on, Grant.
Yeah, Hartlepool. Do you know what? At the start of the season, my expectation was playoffs at an absolute minimum
Mhm.
for us, but we have had a horrifically inconsistent season. We've won a couple of games, and then we've went on a horrible run where we've not been winning. We've had injury problems to 3 of our best players, and our defending's been horrendous. I think we'll sneak. I think we'll be just outside the playoffs. Maybe we might put a late playoff push, but we're going to be middle, top half of the table. I think it's not been a good enough season for us. Yeah,
Do you think Askey finishes the season?
I'll guarantee he finishes the season. It's more the case of, does our owner finish the season with us? The Supporters Trust are involved quite heavily now in trying to pull together a consortium to try and take over the club.
So
I think the club will be sold by the end of the season.
I have something that I've been told today about Pools, and I don't know whether this is true or not. Well, I know that this is true, but I don't know if the thing that I've been told is true, if that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
You'll understand why in a second. So, speaking to a former player of Pools, he's been told that Raj Singh is no longer running the club and it's his son.
Mm.
And I sort of looked and went, that's not what I've been told. And his response was, that's what the current players have told me. That Raj Singh's not actually running things day to day, and his son is running things day to day. Again, I can't confirm or deny that in any way. I don't know, but I'm just saying a former player has said that today. Because I said, would you? I was talking, I said, would you go back? And the conversation came about because he said, regardless of whether Raj Singh was there, I wouldn't go back.
Yeah.
And I said, well, Raj Singh is still there. He said, no, he's not. I said, well, he's definitely the owner. He said, yeah, but he's not running things. He's not involved as much. Now it's his son that's running everything day to day. Maybe he has taken a step back. We don't know.
I mean, he actively doesn't want to own the club anymore. He gets dog's abuse when he's there these days now. I don't think that's fair, giving him dog's abuse when he's at the game. Yes, shout for him to leave if you want for him to leave, but don't give the man abuse. He saved the club at the end of the day. If he didn't come in and buy the club wouldn't be here today. We wouldn't. We'd be a Phoenix club trying to come up through the divisions, and we would probably still be now in the National League or in the National League North in the same sort of position that Darlington are in.
Yeah,
it's a really difficult scenario. There's a lot of thanks to give to Raj for what he's done to the club, for what he's done to the town. But we said this last season, he's took the club as far as he can take it. It's time for him to move on. And back. It's time for him to move on and allow someone else to come in and take the reins of the club and try and push us back to the League Two, where I think the club deserves to be. That is our place within the football pyramid is League Two. Yeah. But there's a lot of work to do. There's a lot of signings to be made. I think John Askey is the right man to try and bring the club back up. I'm looking forward to getting down this weekend and seeing our good friend Andy Woodman as well.
Mr. Woodman, yeah. If you let him know you're going,
I'll let him know. I was going to wait until the midweek games are done, so I'll probably just give him a message tomorrow and say I'm on my way down.
Let him know you're coming. Yeah, get a photo with him.
So I'm cracking my hand. I'm giving myself crack at vlogging this weekend. I've never done that before.
Disaster.
It's going to be terrible. It's going to be awful. You're going to see a Grant Hartlepool vlog featuring the one and only Mr. Martin Johnson. Old Martin's going to be on it as well.
Big MJ.
Big Martin's on it.
See if you can get Jeff in. If you bump into Jeff, see if you can get Jeff on.
I'm not sure if Jeff's there this weekend. I'll have a look to see.
He's been on holiday. And got back in last week. Notts County stats. We've had this sent in here. Interesting stat. Notts County have scored the most first half goals than any other team in the top 4 divisions with 20. Second, Ipswich and Bolton with 19. Third, Stockport with 18. It's a hell of a stat, is that, isn't it? I mean, when you look at the table and see Notts County have scored 37 goals, 20 in the first half, 17 in the second, they're almost the kind of, well, in fact, Stockport are even better, but that's what you want from your side. You want your team performing in both halves. Stockport have scored 39, 18 in the first half. So what's that? 18 in the first half and 21 in the second half.
One.
You want your team doing that. You just absolutely. Hannah, you've scored more goals in the second half than Bradford have all season.
That's mad.
Well,
The thing about Notts County for me is they're the only team inside the top 10 which have conceded 30 or more.
Oh, they concede a lot. They do concede. It's like when they went 4-0 up against us, they then slipped and still conceded 2. If they'd have kept that tempo up of that first half, that would have been like a cricket score we were looking at there. We were on for 7-8-0 after that first half.
What really impressed me with them is the steamroller during the first half. You were poor in the first half as well. But then
Worst performance I've seen.
Bradford changed up. I found it strange that you took Boynton off, but it was to fit the new formation. Bradford came out on the front foot.
Yeah.
And you completely changed up the way you played. But then Notts County seemed to figure you out really quickly. Really quickly. And it was just like, hold on a second. They've countered how we're playing again, and they just seemed to take a bit of control over the game again.
But they couldn't.
It was a
but
very
we then,
clever team.
At the same time, we then controlled them as well. So when they took back control, they couldn't break through. We still kept. It was that second half performance, and then again, I know that the Pizza Cup or the Bristol Street Motors Trophy, whatever we're calling it. I know, we were playing a very young Barnsley side, but the passing and movement is exactly like that. That doesn't matter who you're playing. How your players pass a ball and how they move is irrelevant. It's the same with a shot on goal. The goals don't change size depending on who you're playing against. If you place a shot in the top corner and it's as top corner as possible, it doesn't matter who you're playing. Like that's irrelevant at that point. The passing and movement against Barnsley on Tuesday night, and then at some points in the second half on Saturday, it made me sort of feel that maybe he has found a way to do it. Maybe he's kind of starting to figure out. But I said today, for me, this is a free hit this season for him. We've got to see what happens. He's going to try some stuff. We're going to get pumped some weeks, and this is what I think the second half of the season is going to bring. I think the second half of the season, we'll come out every single game and go for it. We'll have to. That's what the fans want, and that's what he's going to want to see what we can do. I feel like we'll either get caught on the break and we'll lose 2-3-0, or it'll succeed. I don't feel like there's going to be many boring 0-0 games in the second half of the season for us. It's going to be all or nothing. That's my views anyway.
I think that's fair.
Yeah. Grant, we've had a question, Grant. Don't know if you've seen it. It was posted. In fact, you've had that question there. So what's it? On Hartlepool, has Grant seen the GOAT Mike Fondop's running style that's been posted on Twitter from the other night? His Rudiger run, I think it's been called. I posted it on TikTok, and it's had 120,000 views and nearly 5,000 likes.
And did you see as well, Jake Simpson, who was at County and is now at Carlisle's, was saying that he'd like in the post. I don't know what the technical term is, but like in the post game runs, he'd just sometimes do that, and they'd be like, "What do you do?" He's like, "I'm just changing things up."
Yeah, mixing it up.
Yeah, because he was our coach at Hartlepool when Mike was there. Yeah, I mean, it was the funniest thing.
Yeah, but it worked. He
got to the ball first.
Yeah, but he got faster. He didn't just get to the ball first. He actually sped up, and it was like a cartoon run.
Like,
it was incredible.
Do you know? I think there's only one word to describe Mike Fondop: enigma.
Oh yeah, yeah.
He is a complete enigma. There's no player I've ever seen like him in League Two, National League. He's either terrible or fucking phenomenal. And if anyone watched that game for Oldham last night, Barnet v Oldham last night, he was phenomenal. He looked like a League One player. He was big, he was strong, he was bossing the game. His header that he played to Norwood to set up the fourth goal was unbelievable. He's the big, strong striker that everyone wants. And if Oldham don't make the playoffs and go up this season, some poor team in League Two is going to be lumped with Fondop because someone's going to buy him.
This is what another League Two manager said to us about Mike Fondop. He turns it on when there's a reason to. So if he's got 5-6 games remaining on his contract, he switches it on because he knows he needs a contract. If the cameras are watching, he'll switch it on if he can. And that's last night what he did. This Saturday, you know what'll happen this Saturday? He'll miss 3 sitters in the first 10 minutes and get sent off after 20. That's just what he does.
His goal as well was unbelievable. He ran through
His
a bang round and boof straight in off his left foot, right in the top. No one was stopping it, and then he shadow boxed. And if he connected that with someone, they would have sparked them out.
That was my worry. He's shadow boxing, but the fans were leaning over the barrier, and the last punch he swung was probably only 3-4 inches away from that fan. It was like, imagine if he'd have knocked an Oldham fan out. Look, we like Mike Fondop. Maybe not for footballing reasons, but just we like Mike Fondop.
No, do you know what? I like him for footballing reasons as well, because when he's good, he's good. I'm really worried about, we've got an Oldham doubleheader at Christmas and New Year. So people who don't know the National League that are in here, Christmas and New Year, they play the same team on Boxing Day and New Year's Day-ish around that area. And
it's always close.
They do it geographic. Yeah, they do it geographic. Ours used to be Harrogate, I think it was, and then it was Gateshead. Then we went up and we came back down, and Gateshead have I can't remember who Gateshead have. They have York, I think.
Ours used to be Oldham and Salford.
And now we've got Oldham as our probably closest. Well, they're our closest one. So we've got Oldham coming in for a double header. So we've got a Fondop double header. And I'm actually really worried because you just know when he comes back to the Vic that he's going to want to put on a clinic.
Yeah.
But if he scores, everyone will cheer him anyway because they'll just be happy that Fondop scored at the Vic.
Yeah, because you never got to see it.
Never got to see it. The closest we got was against Blackpool when he was through on the goal and then he tripped himself up. One-on-one with the keeper that fell over his own feet.
He's a strange one. But John, who asked that question, also asked another question. How did you and Grant take the Bradford Independent podcast? I felt like you needed to input how toxic the fans have been, but I suspect you didn't want it to become a slagging match.
Well noticed, John, seeing that we were both in on it.
Yeah, we were sat watching, and for anyone who doesn't know, so the Bradford Independent podcast, the independent group, it's a new supporters group that are trying to set up and trying to become sort of an official supporters group so they can challenge the club on certain issues. There were a few times when I did nearly drop in, and like Grant messaged me going, "Don't you fucking dare," because I was like, it was certain things that got said that just really. It was so hypocritical at times. You know, the guy who hosted it, and look, hosting spaces is hard, especially when it's your first one. It's so difficult. And he said at the beginning that he was going to be impartial. But the one thing that I noticed, and anyone's free to go and welcome back and listen to it, is you will pick up on the same thing I picked up on. If you went on and you said negative things about the club, about Ryan Sparks, about Stefan Rupp, you got told that they were really good points and you got thanked for coming on. If you didn't do that and you said anything else, you got interrupted. And that wasn't impartial for me. You got interrupted and challenged and a load of negatives fired at you. So no one who said anything negative was challenged. They were just thanked. Oh, thank you very much for coming on. Yeah, I some really good points. But if you said anything that wasn't, someone said about this, there's supposed to be a tennis ball protest Saturday, 7 minutes in. And someone said they don't agree with that we should be supporting the team for the 90 minutes. That got challenged. How can you challenge that? Like, how can you challenge someone saying we should be supporting that team? Keep your protests for before and after, outside the ground. Do what you need to do. But during the game, it's got to be about the 90 minutes. Because here's the thing. Imagine that on Saturday, they do this tennis ball protest. Everything goes to shit. We end up losing. Maybe we're on the attack when the tennis balls are thrown in and the game stops because of it, and we lose 1-0. And the second half of the season, we go on an amazing run and miss out on the playoffs by 2 points. You know, that's what. Or are the fans going to be happy if we have to play behind closed doors? If they do this,
it's a difficult one because I get the point of where the fans are coming from. I don't wanting to do this. If they're wanting change at the top and they're not happy with how the club's been run, every fan's got a right to use their voice. But I think it's been gone on about the wrong way. Do they have a point where Bradford need a football man involved at the top and maybe decisions are being skewed and it's maybe been the wrong person at the top for too long? Probably. Because Sparks is a commercial guy.
Mm-hmm.
Has it gone too far for him to now step back into a commercial position and bring someone else in to work alongside him from a football point of view? Probably. I think if shit hits the fan or things go wrong with Graham Alexander, I think Ryan Sparks' time will be up and someone else will come in, or they'll bring in two separate people. The big question is, would Rupp sell the club? I don't know who's actually in and selling the club. Is he actively looking to sell the club? I don't know that. But
Someone
the
made a good point
the
there
tennis
for you.
ball point, I completely agree. I don't agree with doing it. It does get eyes on the club from a media point of view if people start doing these things, but will it change? The big point I didn't get is that someone mentioned on it, Stefan Rupp doesn't know what's going on. They're doing this so he knows. Of course, Stefan Rupp knows this is going on. He'd be stupid to know. This is his club, his investment. He owns this, so he'll obviously know what's going on here.
He knows. He watches every game. He does. He watches the games on iFollow. If he's not in the country, he watch. On that, what you just said there, someone said that apparently Stefan Rupp's going to be at the game this Saturday, and the response was, "Do you think that Ryan Sparks is silly enough to invite Stefan Rupp to this game? Do you guys really believe that Stefan Rupp, the owner of the club, only comes when he's invited? Like, it's his club. He comes when he wants to come. And if you don't think Stefan Rupp knows what's going on, he's got an Instagram page that is full of toxic Bradford fans abusing him. The one thing I wanted to touch on with this, Grant, was there was a point that this was the point where I nearly jumped in, was someone made the comment that Ryan Sparks takes things personally. And that really pissed me off because the fans have made it personal. When you leak someone's mobile number, when you attack their character, when you attack the way they look, the way they speak, that's personal. You can't say don't take it personal because you're not just critiquing the job that they've done. You've gone after it. Ryan Sparks has to park his car away from the ground as it stands. And Bradford fans seem to be very, very, very short in memory. And they're talking about how, it's been like this since Ryan Sparks came. It's been like this for a lot longer than that. Our previous chairman's car was attacked in the car park. One of our previous managers, Colin Todd, when he came out after the game, there was a fan on the bonnet of his car scratching his name in with a stone as a form of protest. This isn't a Ryan Sparks issue. This isn't a Stefan Rupp issue. People wanted Phil Parkinson out during that first season. We finished 19th under Phil Parkinson in that first year. He came in around the same time that Graham Alexander did. Graham Alexander came in a bit later. I think Parkinson came in, 29th of August. But for me, last night was just...
If you're going to do two other points that I'm wanting to bring up, Hannah, you laugh. I think you might laugh at this one. Someone compared Bradford's position now to Stockport's position, which you were in.
What?
Yeah,
like up last year, or
no spending? No, prior to that, when you were in non-league, so spending how many years in National League North? 11 years in National League North.
Oh no, not in National League North, but in National.
But 11 out of the EFL. But they actually said, and this was what made me laugh, and I messaged Grant immediately because they said Stockport, they're a great example of how to do things because Stockport have always year on year built on the year before. And I messaged Grant going, they went to the National League North. That's not building year on year. They had to hit a rock
yeah,
bottom.
In fairness, we have. I remember saying to you at the beginning of the season, every year for the last, I think it's the last 5 years, we've improved on our league position from the year before, which means that we should get promoted this year. But that's only since, well, I guess 5 years ago, and when Mark Stott took over, and it doesn't just erase all of the the Mark Kennedy era and everything that went with that and the dropping down, and it's it feels incredibly reactionary, somewhat premature in terms of the scale of the reaction. But also, what I'd caution against is that if you go big with a protest like throwing tennis balls on the pitch now, when things get really bad, you've got no point of escalation. So, it's fine to make your voice heard, and there are channels for that, and there's opportunities to do so. But yeah, it feels, I said to you before, it's main character energy that they, kind of a really dramatic reaction. But yeah, there's no escalation. Well, there is escalation, but it's also going to seem completely disproportionate.
Fuck, we're not even throwing tennis balls in the pitch at Hartlepool.
So right, that's my point I was just going to make here. So I'm going to fire some teams out that are currently in League Two. Bear in mind, Hartlepool are another example.
We're more worthy of throwing tennis balls in the pitch right now.
So Swindon Town, regardless of where they are in the league, Swindon, with what's going on off the field, they're in protest territory and they're not doing it yet. Forest Green were in League One last season. They currently sit 23rd in League Two. They're in protest season. Tranmere Rovers, they have a right to protest. Grimsby have a right with where they are as a club right now. They have a right to protest. All these clubs are below us, apart from Swindon, but Swindon's a completely... That's an enigma in itself. Like, there's so much red tape and so many things going on at Swindon. It's so hard to come. And this is, I don't know if this was your other point you were going to make, Grant. Someone said last night, they came on and they said, when Ryan Sparks came in, we were 20th in League Two, and all he's done is take us to 19th in League Two. Okay, first of all,
via the playoffs.
We're 18 games into the season. So let's say we're on 20 points right now. We win on Saturday, and the teams above us we're 13th. So then Ryan Sparks taking us from 20th to 13th. But we're doing this on a week-by-week basis. But yeah, like Grant says, we finished 6th in the league last season. That's progress. And last season, the fans were united. Unfortunately, we got impatient this season and we demanded them out. But then they were saying that Ryan Sparks acts harshly. He acts harshly against in his decisions. Well, no, he does everything that the fans have actually asked. The fans are moaning and saying that they're not happy with the state of the club. But the state of the club is because of the fans. Let's be brutally honest. They wanted a proven manager at this level, so we went and got Derek Adams. 6 months in fact, it wasn't even 6 months in, it was 4 months in when it first started. They weren't happy. They demanded and they threatened to boycott games. So we sacked Derek Adams. Then went out and got Mark Hughes, and everybody was on board. Then 10 games into this season, the fans were threatening to boycott games. So he sacked Mark Hughes. He's done what the fans have asked him to do, and then they're not happy. It's
90 minutes in. Boo.
90 minutes into Alexander's first game, booing the players off the field who are playing under their fourth manager of the season, because we've had Sparks, 2 interims, and then Alexander playing a completely different formation under a completely different style, and you boo them off the pitch when they've lost against a phenomenal Barrow side.
I know there's claims that the boos weren't relating to the result of the game and the loss, right? It's claimed that was aimed at the ownership. But if you're telling me that if you had won that 4-0, would those boos have still rung out at the end of the 90 minutes? Would they fuck?
No. Harry's hit the nail on the head there. A minority of Bradford fans seem to be their downfall. And I think Bradford fans, or all fans of all clubs, have got to realise that your Twitter fan base is only a small percentage of your actual fan base. So when they think that the majority are all this, that, and the other, it's the same names. Look through the hashtag. It's the same names. It's the same people liking every tweet.
The Twitter fan base, I said this to both of you the other day. The problem with the Twitter fan base is that you look at the age of the Twitter fan base. Yeah. So the age of your Twitter fan base will have probably grown up and seen you in the Premier League.
Mm-hmm.
They will have played Championship Manager and went Bradford in the Premier League. They'll know all the great players that you had. And then they will have just seen it go into a Championship and go, oh, Championship club fighting to get back up into the Premier League. That'll be their What's the word? They'll kind of reminisce on
Frame
it,
of
and they're like, oh,
reference.
yeah, it's their point of reference to where they've been and where they've known the club to be, and they've fallen off. When traditionally, that's not the position that Bradford have been in as a league club. Generally, they kind of hover about League One, League Two.
Yeah, 12 years.
Yes, have got a big stadium. Yes, have got a huge fan base, a phenomenal fan base, a passionate fan base. But something just needs to unlock. I still stand by that. I think Bradford are a sleeping beast, and when Bradford get it right, Bradford will get it right.
So, just a couple of things on what you said there. Yes, we have big fan numbers. If we charged the average season ticket price in League Two, we wouldn't get those fan numbers because they wouldn't show up. They just wouldn't. And that's kind of, I think, part of the problem. These people are coming and they're just there because it's cheap. And, you see them. One of the fans that went on last night and went on a massive rant, Monday to Friday, is tweeting about West Ham. The other thing, just there, I don't think we are a beast. I don't think we are a sleeping beast. 12 out of our 120-year history, 12 years have been spent above a League One level.
There's potential. There's potential there in the club.
But every club's got potential,
Yeah.
really. Every club's got potential. But 12 years out of our 120-year history has been above League One. And someone came on last night saying that we aren't a League One, we're a Championship club and we should be top half of the Championship, pushing to go to... Should we fuck? Sorry, no, we should. We are a League One, League Two club, and we will continue to yo-yo between League One and League Two until the fans accept that. They seem to think that this is the blip, dropping out of the Premier League and coming down to the bottom. That's the blip. No, the blip was those 12 years. It was that period where we went up. That's
Glory
the blip
days.
on the That's, if you look at our timeline, that's the thing that doesn't that's what stands out. That's the thing that doesn't fit. But Stacey's just nailed it there as well. Fans asking to sack Phil Parkinson because they lost against Accrington. Fucking insane.
Ian's brought in a
fans
question. Can we bring in an Ian's question of the week?
Yeah, it's the same with Charlie. Like, I don't know what percentage of the fan base wanted to sack Dave Challoner before this, and now we've equaled the winning run in the fourth tier of football, and may well surpass it. But he would have been sacked.
It's crazy. Some expectations of fans.
Questions for the hosts and those in chat. How did you fall in love with your club? Did it happen over time, like creep upon you? A one-off game that got you hooked, or was it love at first sight? I can't remember. What I will say, it's probably easy for me to tell you how I've fallen out of love with my club. Just type in hashtag BCAFC on Twitter, and it's just there's your answer. I don't know actually. What was your? What was? I don't know really. I feel like I've always had a love-hate relationship with the club. Like I don't want to follow this football club. Like I do want to follow this football club, but I hate following this football club at the same time because it's every single summer of hope and we're going to do it this and we let's be brutally honest, statistically, unless you're a Man City or you're not gonna do it. 23 out of the 24 teams in this league won't win it this year. The odds are against you, apart from Stockport. The odds are definitely with you guys.
What about you, Hannah?
I think so. I started going with my dad when I was about 10 or 11. And for me, it was, I don't know, I think I enjoyed going with him more than I enjoyed the football necessarily. I remember going to Wembley to the Autoglass final in 93 and we lost. And that kind of, that heart sink, and it's that negativity that frames, me being not quite so optimistic about the season now. But I genuinely didn't realize how much I loved the club until I'd had so I think it sounds really convenient. As we dropped down the Football League, I was kind of living out of the country, all over the place. And so had a good few years off. And it wasn't until coming back into Edgeley Park, maybe in 2021, I think, and it feeling like home. And that kind of recognition that actually as a stadium, not that much has changed in terms of the fascia. I mean, the fascia is listed, so the fascia is still the same. But some of the personnel, like Steve Ellis was around when I was a kid, and he's now the club president. I think it's that kind of family, and it feels now as an adult as the one kind of constant in my life, that it's never really changed dramatically. And it wasn't until a few years ago that I realized how much of a part it had played in my life.
Do you feel like you couldn't walk away now? Like you've obviously moved away before, and now you're at that point now where because I'm the same. Like opportunities for work and things come up, and I'm immediately going, well, that mean I can't go here on this day, and like. Yeah. But I mean, it's frustrating. Do you know what? I've remembered. It wasn't my first game. I'd been going for a long time prior to this, but there's one game for me, and it's not even a Premier League game. But there's one game for me where I just started going with my friends. Like I'd gone with family prior. I just started going on my own with my friends. And that's the game where I sort of went, I mean, this is it. This is going to be me every single week now. And it genuinely was. And we were in the Championship and we were relegated that season. It was Brian Robson's first game as manager for us. And we went 2-0 down at home to Millwall, and we won 3-2. I believe it was Michael Branch in like the 92nd minute. And it was just chaos. And I just remember that feeling and being like, well, immediately you're thinking, fuck me, if I get this feeling every single week like that, I can't wait to get back. And yeah, we've obviously, we came down that season, which was fine. But yeah, no, it's that game stands out for me. And that was like 2003. And I've been going for a lot longer prior to that, but the others, it was just kind of like I think especially when you look at the Premier League, like, yes, you love the club, but when you've got Thierry Henry coming to you, like, that's what you're excited to see. I'm excited to go and see, Alan Shearer's coming to play us this week. We've got Thierry Henry. We've got this, David Beckham, Paul Scholes, when Scholesy scored that volley at Valley Parade. Like you were excited to see the opposition, and I feel like that was the first one where I kind of went, "This is it for like that." I want to see this club no matter where they go. And I wish at this point I wish I'd never gone to that game, because maybe I'd be a bit different right now.
Here we wouldn't be here right now if you didn't go to that game.
No, but how weird is that 20 years ago I went to a game just off the cuff with my mates. We went 2-0 down and came back in the last minute. And because of that, we're sat here doing this.
Yeah.
It's utterly bizarre.
But you're right. I mean, as you both know, I was very, very, very close to emigrating earlier this year. And it was the one thing that, it was all sorted, salary, we're looking at houses to rent. And it was the thought of not being able to go to county week in, week out was a massive detractor. And I would never have, we were in a position where we were going to the other side of the world, and I wouldn't have not given the girls that opportunity. But when it came down to it, it was a massive thing. And the one thing that I couldn't get past and couldn't find a solution for, because you can't replicate that.
For me, it's
yours is a weird one, Graham. Yours is
mine,
be a weird one.
Mine is really weird. Obviously, being Scottish, so my mum and dad are both from Hartlepool, and they moved up to Scotland, to Glasgow when they were 17. So they moved up really, really young. Had me, and I went down when I was really young to Hartlepool games, and I was probably too young to know what was going on at a game of football. And then when I got a little bit older, I wouldn't go down to Hartlepool every week at that point. Maybe I'd go down every so often to see my grandparents, but I'd go with a couple of my dad's mates to Motherwell games, and I would sit and watch. It just never, ever resonated with me apart from one player, Rob McKinnon, the left back. And my dad was like, "Oh, I used to play with Hartlepool," and he was a player that I picked up on when I was there, and yeah. Then he played for Hartlepool. I was like, "All right, okay, well, let's go and watch Hartlepool." And I kind of flitted about a couple of different clubs when I was younger, just liking the style of play. I went to see Rangers play when Paul Gascoigne was there, and that was like another level of player that you've seen. And that's when I really started to kind of fall in love with football. The first players I fell in love with, and just from watching the TV, was Vialli, Zola, and Di Matteo. So I took to Chelsea as a youngster, picking up on Chelsea, but again, could never afford to go down to London all the time and go to Stamford Bridge. Luckily, it never really stuck with me as being like my club. I started going to Hartlepool when I was in 2000, when, oh God, who was the manager? Chris Turner was the manager. And it was players like Tommy Miller, Adam Boyd, Adam Boyd, Mickey Barron, Mark Tinkler were all there at the club at the time, and they just kind of grew into being my heroes of players. Tommy Miller left. I think we got 750,000 for him when he moved to Ipswich, which he's still our highest ever sold player to this day. Wow. And then in 2003, same year as when you fell in love with Bradford, I fell in love with Hartlepool. A manager came in from Ross County called Neil Cooper. He changed the game for Hartlepool. Scotsman, he was part of Fergie's Aberdeen squad when he was the manager there, that just done phenomenal. And Neil Cooper just had a way about him. He built a team of just people that were so together. He loved a drink. He loved a party. He was a joker. But he was just an all-round good guy. And he built a phenomenal team, brought players like Joel Porter in from Australia, who was just amazing. Demetrios Konstantopoulos, Greek international goalkeeper that we had in goals. John B's just said exactly as soon as I said it there, Demetrios Konstantopoulos. He went on to be a Middlesbrough legend as well. What a goalkeeper. We had a phenomenal squad. And that was a squad that season I really fell in love with pools. I got my first season ticket. I think it was like 80 quid that I paid for a season ticket back then. And yeah, it was brilliant. And that squad took us up to the playoff final in League One. We lost. We had a 14. Neil Cooper came in shortly after we had a 14-point lead over not Dagenham and Redbridge, Rushden and Diamonds.
14.
We had a 14-point lead. I think it was them, or was it Luton? It was one of the two. And Mike Newell was our manager. He left, and we lost a 14-point lead. Came second in the last game of the season. It was horrific. But yeah, eventually got up to the playoff final to go up to the championship, and it was a phenomenal time as a fan, and absolutely fell in love with the club over those few seasons. Everything that Neil Cooper brought to the club was just brilliant. Unfortunately, he left in the I think it was in the semi-final of the playoffs, because he just had other mental problems going on and drinking problems as well. And
he was Derek Adams' assistant, wasn't he?
He was brilliant. He was a great guy, and unfortunately, he passed away a couple of years ago. I mean, not surprisingly, by a heart attack, because if he's drinking. But what a guy, and what amazing memories. We used to wear as fans. They sold in the club shop. They sold Cooper caps. So it was just a bald cap. It was just a bald cap, and that's all it was. Skin-coloured bald cap, swimming cap, skin-coloured, and that was it. But you seen fans coming to the game with Cooper caps on. You always get the players doing a huddle at the start of the game. We done huddles. There was one game where we came in, everyone was doing a huddle, and he was like, "Fucking everyone gone." The whole bench ran on, the management team, and everyone was jumped in this huddle. He was mental. What a manager! What a team! Glory days. And yeah, it makes me sad to where we are now talking about that. That's what made me fall in love with pools.
I like it. Do you know what, Hannah? I've got a question for you. See if you know this. I don't know if you. It's not a question for you to actually answer, but it's a yes or no. Did you know this? And I always found this quite shocking. And anyone in the chat, same. Did you know that Hartlepool have never played at Wembley ever,
Or won a
They've
trophy.
or won a trophy?
I
I mean, you win. Do you not win the playoff trophy? Do you not get a trophy for the playoff of the National League?
Yeah, we won,
But not
Yeah,
an official
that,
trophy.
We've
yeah.
never won. We've never won a cup, and we've never won a league ever.
And never played at Wembley.
Never played at Wembley. Even the playoff final, we didn't play at Wembley. We had to play at fucking Ashton Gate.
Yeah, it was at Bristol. That's such
The season after Grimsby played at fucking West Ham.
yeah. Well,
The thing that really boiled my piss about our playoff final, right? So it was Ashton Gate. We were playing Torquay. Why did they put it down in Bristol? Torquay had to just take a quick drive up the road.
Yeah, it should have been sort of a Birmingham,
Leicester,
Villa Park,
Manchester.
Leicester. Yeah. Well, Grant, you've just mentioned there, and I know we've reached the hour, so we'll come on to sort of winding down and things. But you just mentioned that the year after Grimsby played at West Ham, and we had a chat earlier about whether we could talk about this or whether we were going to talk about it. But we're fine to talk. We don't know yes or no for definite, but we've been told, much to Hannah and my delight, especially, look at the face, that Grimsby are about to, I say about, I don't mean right now, but Grimsby are going to unveil David Artell as manager. We can't confirm it. We've tried to confirm it. We've been met with silence back, which, silence sometimes says a lot. Here's an interesting thing. Grimsby tomorrow night have a fans forum.
Oh,
I should go.
100% is happening, isn't it? It's happening. The fans forum.
They're going to bring him out of the fans forum, aren't they, tomorrow? And it's live on Radio Humberside. And someone's asked if it's going to be streamed, and they've said no, but they'll be uploading it over the weekend. So there's got to be something that they're planning on people sort of being excited to see. But yeah, no, tomorrow night they have the fans forum. I think they announce their manager tomorrow, and as far as we're aware, David Artell seems like it could be him.
He's a weird one to drop. It was a weird one to drop down. Someone was asking about how the bookies odds work in managers. I mean, generally don't read into fucking anything at this league for bookies odds. But when you get someone that's been quite high up, it was quite low down in the Morecambe odds, and you look at the Morecambe odds went up and up and up and up and up to a higher level, and he dropped straight down to 2-5 at Grimsby. Then you can kind of maybe put something together at what's going on.
And should it happen tomorrow, then Grimsby are at home to Sutton on Saturday. If ever there was something set up for a new manager bounce, it is Grimsby against Sutton on Saturday.
Something else about this situation, which I completely missed, and as we were talking then, I thought, holy shit, I missed this, was another manager that we'd been speaking to, who we're looking to do an interview with, who was also in for the Grimsby job. I was messaging yesterday, and I said, I'm told Dave Artell has the Grimsby job, but nothing confirmed yet. And his reply was, I've heard the same. And he applied for the job, and he was interviewed for the job. So maybe there is more to it. Maybe we can confirm it without confirm. It's hard.
We can't confirm it.
Well, it changes. This is the thing. It's like you look at the Cowleys at Bradford. They'd agreed it was all done, and then they changed their mind. It changes. So as it stands, we've not been told anything other than it's Dave Artell.
We're fairly confident it is. We can't confirm or deny, but we
had to get one right, didn't we? We've put that every club so far. We have to get one of them.
You throw Dave Artell at enough clubs, then he's gonna land at one of them. It was only a matter of time until Dave Artell landed at one of the clubs.
Yeah, and like you say, fans forum tomorrow night, and then Sutton at home. I think that's kind of written. So I have a challenge for us three together. It's a joint challenge. And I'm gonna also pair up clubs in threes on Twitter. But what we'll do is we'll do a couple every week or so. So for the first week, and this is for us between us to discuss for next Thursday, if we're or for the next time all three of us are on together. Me and Grant have done this before, along with a friend of ours called Scott, who supports Falkirk.
Mhm.
Well, the Bairns.
I don't know whether Grant has clicked on it what I'm talking about or not, or if he's just completely oblivious.
Oblivious.
Oblivious. Okay, so between the three of us, I want us to build the ultimate 11 of players who have played for all three of our clubs.
Yes.
So we did it before with players that had played for both for Bradford, Hartlepool, and Falkirk. They have to have played for all three, and you have to build an 11. So we've got to go through and find players that play for Bradford, Stockport, and Hartlepool, and we've got to build an 11. So if anybody, fans of any of those three clubs that are watching, even if you're not, if you've got players to suggest, fire them over. And then what we can do when we have, if Stace is on next week and with, I don't know, a Swindon fan and a Mansfield fan, we'll do Wrexham, Swindon and Mansfield, and we'll let them build a team. And yeah, I think that's then we can read through that team.
Of Pools and Stockport ones of recent
Yeah.
years because of the Charlie link. So just need to find the ones that have then been at
Any of
Bradford.
them have any of them played for Bradford? That's what I've been trying to think.
Yeah, Bradford are the spanner in the works with this one. We could have a horrific side here, but we'll see.
We had a phenomenal Hartlepool Bradford team. It was unbelievable.
Yeah, the Bradford Hartlepool team in their prime. The Bradford Hartlepool team walks this league. Like, it was, we were just, the thing is, we were getting annoyed that we only had
Gordon
11
Watson
places.
up front. Was it Gordon Watson we had up front?
We were getting really wound up that we only had 11 places because we had to leave people out that we would love in our teams.
Do you know it was really easy to leave out though? Jack Compton.
Jack Compton was the easiest one to leave out.
Terrible.
But Grant, we need to maybe reevaluate because we can also add Theo Robinson at this stage.
No, he didn't make it.
No, but we could now because he wasn't part of this. He'd not played for you at that point. Now he has.
But he's not played for Stockport, so
No, but we can reevaluate the Bradford Hartlepool one and add in Theo Robinson.
Definitely.
Yeah, some really, really. Do you know what we actually we found this? Like, there were players that Grant would name, and I'd go. Like, he wouldn't name it thinking that we had both. He'd just randomly name a player in a conversation, and I'd go, "Fuck me, did you have them as well?" And then we'd be like, "Oh, and we'd add them." Like,
you
the
had
amount
Charlie White, hadn't you?
Yeah, we had Charlie White.
Charlie White, boom, there we go. Charlie White and Gordon Watson up front. Wow.
Yeah. So that's the challenge for us. Let's build a team between the three of us of Bradford, Stockport, and Hartlepool. I'm going to try and design a badge for the team which combines all three crests.
Well, if it's anything like Stockport, it can have the year of founding 3 times, so that'll be fine. We can just have all of them.
But again, the Hartlepool and Stockport badges are very easy to combine.
I challenge you to use the shipped wheel badge.
But even that fits with the Stockport badge because it's round. You've both got round badges. It's ours that has the fucking unique
chicken on it somewhere.
A chicken on top. Yeah. I'm going to try and combine them. So yeah, guys, that's Ben Hinchliffe has made deliveries to Bradford and Hartlepool. Does that count? No. We need actual. Even if they've just signed, they don't have to have played. It's just got to have been signed on as a player at the squad at the club at some point. It's hard, but when you get into it and then you look at the team, you go, "Fucking yes, I love it."
I'm going to spend my night on Wikipedia now looking at squads from like 2000 onwards.
Yeah.
It's going to be Stockport because I'm fine with Bradford and Hartlepool. I've got a role team. I just need to try and sort people out.
Of course. Yeah,
we need to find just players that I don't know. We'll see what we can do. But other than that, guys, I believe we've reached the end. It's been fun.
The end is near.
Oh yeah, the end is near. It's not time to go.
The final curtain. Anyway, yeah. Subscribe down there.
On Sunday.
Hit the bell button. That'll tell you when we go live or any of our podcasts go up on here because we are uploading every single podcast. League 1, League 2, Championship, National League are all from now on going to be on
interviews.
YouTube. Interviews will be on here. Go and give some love to Pete Wild if you've not already done so. Go and give some love to Andy Woodman. It is an absolute gem of an interview. If you don't know who he is, just go and watch it. He is a top guy. Honestly, underrated interview that we've done.
Yeah.
He is phenomenal. Follow us on any podcast device, rate us 5 stars. Great. Boom. We love you all. See you in the 606 on Sunday. We've been Look Media.
Get your questions in, Mr. Richie Wellens, because that is going to be, with the questions I've already had sent, they're so negative. I can't wait. He's such, not negative on Richie's point, but negative as in like everyone's focusing on the bad things that happened at clubs that he's been at. And look, I think Richie's the sort of person that'll take them head on and will be as brutally honest as he can be, and I can't wait. So yeah, guys, we'll see you on Sunday. Is it Sunday? Yeah, Sunday for the 606, and then let's crack on. And then a week later, we're going to Barrow.
We can fit that. We can fit what we do in Barrow as a feature on here.
Oh, we can. See you later, guys.
Anyway,
bye, driver.
Bye.